Hi.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm still getting stuff set up. It's been a while since I've done a recording like this. Wow, 352 page views in a week on the site. And that's lower than what we're normally getting. We're getting like 400 anonymous hits to our website. And like, according to Selene, like 90% of those are probably not actually people, but
probably robots.
No, please do not run the code. What are you doing? Just... No, please do not.
Hey, I'm visible.
Yes, yes, you are.
Typical cringe.
Okay, so there's YouTube, and we have to go to our blog, right? I forget what I'm going to be doing. New posts. So all three of us are here, yes? Hope can't make it, and she's the only other board member we're waiting for?
Yep.
Cool. And half of us are here, so that does make quorum, and we only have like 3 things on the topic list, which is totally unexpected. So as soon as I can do this, we'll basically just start, and this should be relatively short.
Cool.
Where is the YouTube? You know what? I'll just do this later. Facebook. And everyone has a link to the board agenda? Everyone's on it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, I'm going to log in on the laptop so that we have a screen share of the agenda freely accessible as well. Great, and we have the ability for people to access that as need be. All right. So everyone should be on the Google Doc. This is a recorded public board of directors meeting. All volunteers, employees, etc. of RescueNet are allowed on the Hangout. If you're watching this via a recording, terribly sorry about the first 5 minutes. And further than that, if you wanted to follow along with us, if you're watching live, The agenda is down below. It's a view-only Google Docs link, so you'll just want to make sure that you have access to that via your browser. Other than that, we also will be switching to this anytime we are moving so that you can follow along with us on video. And other than that, I guess that since this is our first public meeting, we should introduce ourselves. While we're doing that, though, we'll run through the attendance sheet. Attendance sheet is part 1, attending. So let's go ahead and get started with Erin, since you're the only one joining us from abroad.
Hi, I'm Erin. I am 23 years old. I've been with RescueNet for a little bit over a year now, formerly Trans Youth Channel. I have a background in English and education, and I am the volunteer representative.
Oh, volunteer. Sorry, I put you under business rep. My bad.
As I was saying that, I was like, wait. Yeah, that's me.
Selene?
Hi. I'm the treasurer. I'm Selene. I'm a little spacey. What are we looking for?
Just basically an introduction. You did fine. No worries, love. And are you a voting member?
Yes, I am.
Erin, are you a voting member?
Yes.
Perfect. And my name is Samantha. I am the executive director and president of RescueNet, formerly Trans Youth Channel. And my role is as a non-voting member, but essentially I make all of the head decisions as the executive director, and anything that the executive director doesn't have authority to make, I, as the president, am able to come and say, hey, board, help me out. I rely on my board for campaign ideas, fundraising ideas, fiduciary responsibilities, etc. So this is going to be the first public board meeting for RescueNet. It's not the first actual board meeting for RescueNet. And I'm actually really excited because during this event, we have only really one major thing on the docket, and that is fully funding the technology portion of the support group program. So let's get started. And I am attending, and I am not a voting member. Oh, that was weird. Okay. So we just have some questions that we need to ask, and I'm going to leave this very informal because there's only 3 of us. Are there any in attendance who are not members of the board? No. Are there any in attendance who are speaking to the board? No. Are there any attendants who are observing the actions of the board as active members? No. Has a quorum of at least 1/3 of the board been met for the meeting to proceed? Assuming as there are 3 of us, there are 6 positions, and only 4 of those are open, I would say yes. Does every board member agree to move forward with the agenda in question below?
Yeah.
Do you agree with the agenda as provided?
Yes.
Perfect. And does anyone, before we get started, have any conflicts of interest they want to point out?
No.
So no on both counts. Perfect. Why is it opening a new tab?
Sorry, for a new account, I was having some issues getting in.
Oh, no worries. All right. So let's go ahead and move forward with the board agenda. I make a motion to convene the board.
Motion seconded.
Motion declared. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start by receiving reports from the treasurer and CEO. Treasurer first.
Well, until yesterday, we had enough in our account to cover monthly expenses for a while. As of the printing you picked up earlier today, though, we're going to have to do a fundraiser to cover monthly costs in a few months.
Okay.
The numbers are in the document, aside from what you spent today, which was what, 300 something?
Yes. So I picked up resources that were last minute for Pueblo Pride at the end of this week. Parentheses, Erin, I have your business cards. And the full cost of those was a final total of $315. Because we didn't have that in docket at the time, I paid for it out of personal funds, and I will expect the board to provide funds in extra to me for those costs when we do have the money. I suspect that that payout will occur at the same time as the Yondo decision, which we did make the choice to go forward with. More on that later on in the board meeting.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Anything else for Treasurer's Report?
There are things related to the topics we're covering later. Like, we had to go ahead and actually send money to Yondo because there was a deadline that was shortly before this meeting. And RescueNet itself did not have the money, so we had to float that and maybe get paid back in like 6 weeks or whenever when the money comes in.
How are we looking on recurring services? When do we run out of money?
A lot sooner than we would have yesterday. Sorry, I'm recalculating. Unless I'm forgetting something, we have something somewhere around 4 to 5 months of working funds left.
Okay, so we do have until the end of the year fundraising in order to get that together. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. So if we have about 4 to 5 months, should we move on to the CEO's report?
Yes.
Okay, so my report, hello, Executive Director. My report is going to be broken down into multiple different programs so that I can update the board on where we stand for the organization as a whole. So state of volunteers, we are currently running at about 13 volunteers. 13 volunteers puts us at requiring about 20 more for a final total of about 33 to run all programs. The place where we really are hurting for volunteers, hands down the most, is our weekly digest program. I'm having trouble finding, one, volunteers who are willing to do the weekly digest, and two, finding volunteers who have the capacity to do it. In order for us to really properly run the weekly digest, we need people who are, one, committed to doing what they're doing, and two, have the skills necessary to create copy. So we really, really need an editor, we need some content creators, we need partner organization people, etc. My focus, however, is not on the weekly digest for the time being. The weekly digest is set up, ready to go. It's been like that for about a year since our last meeting. Nothing has changed on the weekly digest. All we need are the volunteers and it can launch. We have seen a lot of huge changes in the support group program. So for the support group program, we'll hear a little bit more about it kind of moving forward and going through the motions, just informing everyone and the public on where the Yondo decision is. But because the platform has officially been paid for up to 5 facilitators, and the platform should be ready to launch by October, 3 months from now, my timeline is essentially in about 2 months, I hope to have a working support group program training developed. I don't expect it to be complete. I don't expect it to be thorough. and I don't expect it to be endorsed by partner organizations just yet. After 2 months, I have been working with the LGBT Center of Colorado. The transgender coordinator there, Sable Schultz, who is also responsible for the support groups in the community, has agreed to allow us to take one of her volunteers through the program using their support groups as a portion for the training. A part of the training is essentially we have a person going through already established support groups in order to learn from other facilitators as mentors. Since we can't do that, since it's a startup, we're going to be having them co-facilitate 2 meetings with the center in exchange, and then that individual has agreed to mentor 2 others and keep their support group with us for about 6 to 8 months as we start up the other 4 facilitators. So that's where the support group program is. We are looking at just to summarize, the training finished within 2 months, a person going through it between 2 and 3 months. The first support group launching at 3 months and going until about 9 months. They've agreed to that commitment. We just need to find that facilitator. Sable should be getting back to me with that by the end of the month. In regards to other changes, our website is essentially done. We have a finished stagnant website. There are several active parts of the website that still need to be updated. This involves the support group platform, the Trans Youth Channel archive, the weekly digest archive, and the last section is the donation shop, where we're going to be selling various different things for added costs in order to generate donations. So that's where we stand on website affairs. State of the community. This is kind of difficult. Once again, we're an invisible community, so I wanted to add this and make it a norm for board of directors and the CEO report. We don't actually have any metrics on our community. What we do know is that we're getting 315 total hits on our site and 115 isolated hits, according to Selene, who is also our tech person. Most of that is probably not people, but we don't have a way of counting that. We won't have a way of counting that. I do not plan on implementing anything further. I do plan on looking at the community through the guise of the support group program. Who's showing up? Who are we actually seeing? Who are we talking to? What is the stealth community saying? Etc. So that's essentially it for my report. I do have one on partner organizations, which hasn't really started yet. I don't see a need to go over that. You can check my full report and update in the agenda. That's about it. I do have plans. We have a September fundraiser, which we have set a $1,200 to $1,600 goal. So $1,200 with $1,600 as a stretch goal. We are hoping that those funds will go to either general operating funds until the end of the year, or alternatively to running the support group program for the next year. I would like to motion and put it on the docket that we go over fundraising again, basically how much money we need, how much money is going to be allocated for the next year during this support group meeting. Do I have a second on that motion?
Yeah, seconded.
All right, motion approved. So we'll go ahead and tack that on to the end of the agenda. We are also planning on participating in Giving Tuesday again, like we did in 2014. That was a tremendously lucrative event for Trans Youth Channel because it brought in a solid $1,600, which we spent on going to Creating Change. I do not plan on going to Creating Change in 2017. I do not think that since it's not in Denver, we're going to have the ability to afford it. But that's kind of up to the board to make that decision. We can talk about that when we discuss fun stuff. Otherwise, other expansions, I would like to start looking at grant work at the $6,000 level to get a part-time volunteer coordinator for the program by the end of 3 months when we launch. So having that set up for starting January of next year in the next fiduciary year. So I'll also bring that up in the future. Are there any questions on the executive director's report?
No.
I think so. Are we planning to do fundraisers in September and December?
Yes.
Not just one?
Nope.
Okay.
I plan from now on to have fundraisers going forward because I have a team who knows how to do fundraisers now. Makes me so excited. They're so good. I really like it. I appreciate it. So yeah, I plan on running stuff quarterly now. And my estimations, correct me if I'm wrong, we are looking at jumping from about $4,000 to run the entire organization per year to, if we do the part-time thing plus Yondo, we're looking at about $12,000 per year in order to run it. Is that right?
I'm not sure what we need.
Okay.
I thought it was significantly less than that.
All right. We'll talk about it when it comes to other stuff. We'll do the math.
Unless we have like actual paid positions, which of course increases things quite a bit.
Yeah. So like $6,000 of that is a one paid position.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Erin, is there anything you want to say?
No, I'm good.
Just me.
Now.
All right. I make the motion to move from reports over to issues.
Seconded.
All right. Motion approved. We are moving toward issues at hand. The first one is relatively simple. Hope Blind, our vice president, is doing amazing and wonderful things, and she's becoming a director with the Human Rights Campaign, which is a huge deal both for RescueNet and for her herself. We want to congratulate her on that. But it has created a motion to move board of director meetings from every second Monday of the month to every second Sunday of the month from 6 to 8 p.m., providing some space for spillover. Is there anyone who would like to second a vote on this action?
Yeah, seconded.
Yeah, I'm fine with moving
Starting
it.
September, I'll get. Starting September, I'll get Sundays off, so that works for me too.
Okay. And Selene votes yes?
I'm fine with putting meetings whenever. I'm flexible.
Cool. So we have Erin and Selene both saying yes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Motion approved. All right. So I will go ahead and set that starting in, when is our next board meeting? September 12th. So we have our next meeting September 12th, which is actually the day after Out Boulder. So we're probably going to have like some funds that are just kind of loose from that decision. Cool. All right. Moving on to the second issue, paying for the Yondo platform access. So essentially this entire motion was already done. We just need to go through the motions, explain it, etc. But both Erin and Selene voted yes. Hope has provided her paper assent as a yes. So we have 3 voting members of the board. All 3 of them have approved this motion. Is that correct?
Yep.
Cool. So let's go ahead and explain it. Essentially, our support group program initially cost about $25,000 for us to launch, so we were putting it off for like 3 to 4 years because it was just too much to do. I, however, came across a for-profit business company called Yondo. Yondo runs webinar, one-on-one platform systems, is connected to Weebly, which is who we run our website through, and provides a landing page that works exactly like the support group program proposal expected it would work for it.
Close enough anyway.
Yeah, close enough for it. Functionally the same. Just doesn't look the same and has a few functions that are missing, but those functions are auxiliary. Not a big deal. and they only required a subscription cost of $1,200 per year for us to run 5 facilitators, and $3,500 per year for us to run up to 50 facilitators. So if we want to expand, we can move up to 50. I don't see us getting 50 facilitators for quite some time. So that's essentially what happened. So I, both as president and executive director, have already updated the support group program proposal to reflect Yondo. I have not done so in grants. I have not done so on the working portal. I also ran a 10-10-10 campaign, getting 10 people to donate $10 for 10 months in order to fund the program for a year. That succeeded.
Yeah, so when I mentioned having to float the money for Yondo, we've already raised the money, but we don't have the check in the mail yet. Should be here in like a month.
So we already have the money coming in over the course of the year. It's solid, it's good, it's done. In addition to that, we also fundraised an extra $400 that would pay for the custom design. But I do not plan on providing that $400 until after Yondo submits us to the beta for their support group, for their group conferencing programs, which is what we need in order to run the support group programs. We've also entered into a partnership agreement with Yondo to run their beta test for their meeting/conferencing system. We are expected to run it, provide feedback and a review of it, in addition to a partnership that essentially says, hey, we use this and we like it. So I'm basically planning on doing a video for Yondo on that. The CEO is pretty happy about it. That having been said, the $1,200 doesn't come in yet, so Selene and I have agreed to float the organization $1,200 to pay for that. And we have not done the $400 yet. So we made a motion in order to move forward with this payment. It assented. It had unanimous votes for yes for that. And along with that, the results for the 10-10-10 fundraiser have been tacked on to this. Are there any questions, comments, concerns regarding the Yondo decision? Cool.
Nope.
Say that again?
I said no.
Okay, no worries. I would like to move on to the next one.
Seconded.
No, seconded.
All right. So the next and the last issue currently on the list is a reallocation of funds due to failed recording and the addition of Yondo. So this was put forward by myself and seconded by the treasurer. Essentially, we need to do 1 year planning and look at how much money we're potentially going to be coming in, what we have, add the Yondo decision to it, how much money we're going to need over the next year, etc. So I would like to kind of turn this over to Selene, because you're better at math.
Well, our biggest annual expense is Yondo now. The second biggest expense is Network for Good. And then there's a little bit every month for web hosting mostly. Aside from those, we basically keep needing money to print things for local events and stuff, like for Pride or various conventions. And printing is expensive.
Yeah.
Trying to find maybe some cheaper ways to print our materials, because like apparently the bookmarks cost more than any of our other materials and they're very popular.
Insanely, and we give them away for free.
Yeah, so in general, when doing like a Pride event, we end up spending more on printing than we get in donations at the event. So the events are currently a net loss in terms of money, but we, in exchange, basically get to advertise and find potential volunteers and potential people to help. I'm kind of hoping we can at least start breaking even on events. But if not, maybe we can at least just reduce some of the spend. You're catching up the notes?
Yes. So, from what I hear, it looks like for expenses for our 1 year setup, we're looking for question 1: how much do we need in 1 year for recurring services? Period.
Let's see. It's around 1,200 for Yondo, plus around 600 for Good. Like 45 for domain names, and do you recall offhand what weekly costs?
I believe it's 60 a year.
Yeah, I think it was about that. So the majority of our costs fit into about 2,000 per year, not counting printing and not counting any paid positions.
Okay. So we don't currently have any paid positions, but if we plan on running the support group program, so here's the thing. Speaking as executive director, not president, if I want one person to coordinate, support, manage, and like oversee 4 other facilitators, in addition to their own facilitator roles, we're looking at a facilitator role being 8 hours worth, and then facilitating the facilitators being about another 2 to 3 hours per facilitator. So we're looking at 8 times another 16. So that right there is between a 20 to a 26-hour job a week. That is like verging on a full-time position. Like verging on it. It is a part-time position, but it is verging on a full-time position. So I would think, and I've put this into my grant funds, etc., that we need to pay this person maybe, like, because I don't want to be too stingy with costs. Minimum wage in Colorado, where we are funded, is currently $7.25. We're expecting that to bump up significantly. So if we want to pay this person, like, the net worth of that, we're talking about like a supervisor kind of role at a summer camp. We're looking at maybe paying them $11, $12 an hour for 25 hours worth of work a week. That's gonna add up to about $5,000 to $6,000 worth of funds
For what?
per year.
Your math is way off.
Okay, so do the math.
Like $10 an hour, 25 hours a week?
Windows run, Notepad. No, not Notepad.
Yeah. That's more like 12, 13,000 per year.
What? No.
$10 an hour, 25 hours a week, 50 weeks per year. Also, minimum wage went up to like $8.30 or something recently. Here.
I'm getting... No, that's not right. So, 25 hours at $10 each times 50
50 weeks.
weeks. Okay, yeah, I'm way off on that. Either way, we need to pay a person part-time.
We currently don't have the ability, or even close to the ability, to actually pay someone a fair wage.
Okay.
Unless
So-
it's quite a bit less hours.
I agree. So what do we want to do? how much do we think we can pull from a grant to offer this person? What should our asking price be?
Can we even get grants? I mean, while looking around for them, they're pretty much all restricted to local area organizations.
And that's been our most common issue. Erin, what do you think?
I don't know.
You're just like...
I don't... Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people like giving to local organizations, and technically we kind of are, but I mean, like, I know we're national, but we're based locally, and I don't know if they would consider that. That's my thing.
Okay. So, because I was thinking if we could pay them maybe $5,000 or $6,000 a year. Because I remember when I was being paid $7.25 an hour plus tip at Little America, I was bringing in about $12,000. So to me, this would be at about the price range of $7.25. And it's not 30 hours worth of work.
Yeah, Colorado increased the minimum wage.
Right.
It's now inflation adjusted automatically, and it's currently like $8.30 or something like that.
Okay. So if we were to look at minimum wage in Colorado and multiply that by the amount of hours, how much would we need?
That's what the actual minimum wage is right now.
It's $8.31 USD per hour.
And still 25 hours a week.
Let's make it 20 and see what happens.
That is $8,300 per year.
So if we were to look for a grant at the $6,000 to $8,000 range and then fundraise the rest, what do we think?
If you can pull it together somehow, then awesome. That's not a thing I really know how to do.
Another idea that we could do is we could ration the donation costs that we receive during groups. So like during groups, we plan on accepting donations in order to keep the program running. It's $15 per session. So if they can fund $15 a session, they pay for that session, according to Yondo,
Who's they?
the support group facilitator. So if one facilitator running one session manages to get $15 in donations for that next session that they run, that pays for Yondo's cost for services. If they manage to get maybe like another $10, I figure they should be allowed to be compensated for their time, but not completely because we need more funds. So like they could get 50%, and then we could also give like another 15% to the support group program coordinator who's overseeing them. So we could pay them off the top for donations received during the program as well. And that might make up the rest of the costs.
Maybe.
Of course,
Keep
that
in
means
mind-
it's $30 per session.
Keep in mind, people attending are not likely to be donating.
Right, and I agree with that. At the same time, it's just an option and it's there that I want facilitators to be aware of.
Okay. I think we should definitely have the option for people to donate money that way, but we should not require it because that kind of defeats the whole point of the program.
No, I definitely don't want to require it at all. I want facilitators to say, if you have the capability and you found that this was helpful, I'd like you to help fund the next session. At the end of every support group meeting, they can just have like an elevator speech that says, hey, can you help fund the next section? And if they manage to raise a certain amount, it pays for the program on its own. Itself.
Yeah.
It's autonomous.
It might work, but I doubt we're going to see much coming in that way. I've been to similar groups that have a donation thing at the end, and it's usually not much. Even like groups that are supporting people who are older and have more money, the donation jar still tends to have very, very little in it at the end.
I would agree with that. Erin, what's your opinion? Did Erin leave?
Seems like it.
All right, well, we'll wait for her to come back. So what other future costs do we estimate?
The main one is if we have any paid positions.
I don't plan on getting paid for quite some time because I think that paying program people for their costs is more stable.
And if we need more than 4 or 5 facilitators, that slightly more than doubles our Yonder costs. Or actually, that almost triples our Yonder costs.
And so we're looking at 1,200 to 3,500, yes?
Yeah, I really don't think we're going to have a need for more than 5 within the next year.
Okay. And other cost expenses added. I would say printing costs could get more expensive the more shirts we start selling and the more...
Yes, the more events, the more we're going to have to print.
So let's say, because right about now we're having like 3 Pride events that we go to.
Also, we have 15 minutes until the next meeting, so what do we need to get through still?
No, this is the last thing.
Okay.
This is the last thing. So we have 15, or we have 3 events, $300 each. We're planning on making fundraisers 4 times a year, so that's 3. So 4 added, that's 7, plus like 2 awareness events, 6. So if we're planning on adding 6 events per year at $300 worth of marketing costs, that's $1,800.
We can probably get it down to 100 to 200 per event.
Okay.
Like if we are spending 300 on materials and we get in like 100 worth of donations, that costs us 200 per event.
Okay.
Which we may be able to reduce. Cheaper bookmarks, possibly other cheaper printing, or like replacing the large number of brochures with a smaller, like index card size thing with most of the same information. Possibly selling t-shirts instead of giving them away, things like that.
Okay.
So we can greatly reduce our per event costs.
All right. Are there any other additional costs that we need to talk about?
I think so.
All right. Erin, Erin's still not back yet, so I guess we'll move on to the next section. Future funds incoming. I plan on running fundraisers on a quarterly basis. So about 1,000. Oh, hi, Erin.
Hi, my internet went out. Sorry.
No worries. We only have about 10 minutes left before the weekly meeting starts.
So zoom.
Yeah. So we were just about to move from future costs estimated to future funds incoming. So future costs estimated, we looked at the support group program being about $8,000 in order to get a coordinator. Yondo facilitators over $5. So if the program ends up overwhelmingly successful within the next year, then that means a $2,200 increase. And then more events and marketing costs. We figure if we're going to be adding like more awareness events, more stuff like that, that's probably like an extra 6 events. Then we're looking at $1,200 to $1,500 worth of marketing costs per event. And we can probably reduce that a little more. Do you think of any other future costs that we might end up incurring?
It's not 12 to 1,500 per event. That's per year.
Or per event. Wow, thank you for catching that.
I can't think of any more. No.
We're trying to get that down if we can find some cheaper approaches to printing.
Oh, weren't you looking to hire, like, a grant writer?
Yes. And I figure maybe, I mean, do we even know how much a grant writer costs for a grant?
Well, what would the hours look like on that? If they're few, my dad said he would do it pro bono.
I mean, your dad's the PI, so.
Yeah, I mean, like, he is really busy, but he does have the time to work on stuff here and there. So he said if the hours are few, and
So here's how I figure running grants is going to work. I mean, I figure we will train all managerial staff on grant writing, using the grant writing training. So we'll train me and you and Hope. Selene, I don't think you'll need to be trained at all, because you're just a board member. Well, you might need to be trained on making fiduciary reports for grants. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I figure we'll train our staff, and then we'll have a principal investigator. And essentially what'll happen is we'll have the principal investigator spend one full day, like 8 hours, researching grants, one full day putting what he needs for those grants together, and then one full day having a meeting where all of us come together and all of us work on the grant together at the table immediately. Then once he gets all of the content and everything like that set, he spends another 3 days essentially just rough drafting the grant, puts it on a Google Doc. All the rest of us go through, revise, edit, reform, redo, whatever we need to do. He finalizes it, and then we submit it. So by the end of it all, I would suspect it probably takes 1 week worth of work per grant. So we should pay for that 1 week at a reasonable cost.
Okay.
At the same time, like, we might want to just consult your dad on this and put this as business for the next board meeting, and have him give us an estimation of what he would like.
Yeah.
I mean,
That would. I mean, like, he wants to help, he does, but he tends to do this thing where he just agrees to do stuff and overwhelms himself. So I'm trying to, like, I really do appreciate his help, and I would like it if he did help us with this, but I don't want to have him agree to do something that would completely overwhelm him with time, because he does work even, like, from home on the weekends a lot for his current position.
Okay. I mean, I agree with that. What I can do, like, could you just ask him, like, what is the maximum amount of hours that he would be okay doing as a pro bono?
Okay. Yeah, I'll talk to him. I don't want you to like have to try and account for funds for that if we could just have somebody do it for free who's offering. So that's why I asked.
Awesome if it works out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and put that as next board business. I make a motion to move that cost over to the next board agenda.
Seconded.
Seconded.
All right. So let me go ahead and put that down. And let's go ahead and move forward to future funds incoming. Can any of you think of anything that would end up netting us money in the next year, other than what's on the Google Doc?
Nothing coming to mind.
No, I'm looking. No, I don't have anything to add to it right now.
Okay. Does everyone agree with the estimations that are provided on the future funds incoming?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we can actually get 1,000 per fundraiser if they're every 3 months. But I don't know how to forecast that. It seems like a lot of our fundraisers have the same people donating, and if we ask for money more often, they are probably not going to give us as much.
I agree. I mean, honestly, for the 10-10-10, 8 out of 10 of those were people I know.
Yeah. So unless we can expand our donator reach, I don't know that we can really increase our total donation amount very much.
Well, I do know that we're planning on doing a Making the Ask training, so we can probably better train volunteers to make those asks so that we can tap volunteer networks. Erin, what's your opinion on that? Should we increase the Making the Ask trainings priority a little bit so that we can access volunteer networks?
We can. My problem personally for me is I've asked everybody that I can, and it still came up pretty barren. And I don't know if other people are going to come into that too. Just, but yeah, we can do that, and hopefully it'll bring some more money in.
Okay. Well, potentially what could be happening there is also the way in which the ask is being made. So by doing the Making the Ask training, we could potentially improve that percentage for individuals. At the same time, our volunteers are coming from our community, and our community has needs. So it might also be important for us to look at more social media and partner organization outreach as well. Like, we could start charging for partner organization resources. Like when we launched the Closet Friendly program, which is still currently in planning and not brought to the board yet, we could actually make a part of the Closet Friendly program requiring a $10 contribution to us in order to receive their medal. I feel like that would kind of make the medal not work, but like during the first year we could have all medals free, and then after that we can implement a cost. So we could look at charging partner organizations for those resources, but at the same time I feel like given RescueNet's current standing, since we're a startup organization, that just doesn't seem like it'll work.
Yeah.
We have all board directors doing the give get, right? I know that I know that us three are paying into that. Do you know anything about Hope's give get?
No, I don't.
Okay, because I haven't heard that she's gotten anything on that. So I'll contact her and ask if during Giving Tuesday she might be willing to volunteer and reach out to provide a give get. Because she only needs to get $250, and she gets HRC like as a job. So I feel like she'll be more than capable of getting $250 by the end of the year if she helps with our Giving Tuesday campaign.
Yeah, I know she's aware of it, so so she might be doing something. I don't know. It's not like she totally just forgot or something, but
I'm not doing the give get in the same way. I just kind of, I tend to just pay for everything else by default.
that works.
Any costs that come up or aren't included in the budget, or which are surprises or whatever, I end up kind of paying for those.
Well, that definitely works.
Yeah, I mean, we've done our give get in space, like too much. So yeah, I'd like to make two motions then. One, if we're finished with I'd like to make a motion to move this data to the treasurer and have the treasurer provide a working budget based on the numbers proposed by the end of next week. Is that
Seconded?
We can do that. We'll need to meet separately.
Okay, yeah. No worries. So is that motion seconded?
Yes.
All right. So I'd like to make a motion to put that on business for the next month.
Sure, seconded. We have like a minute left.
And I'd also like to make a motion for the Vice President, Hope, to update us on her give get by next month.
Seconded.
Perfect. All right, so issues, we're gonna go, I'd like to make a motion to move on to, I'd like to make a motion to move all issues that we spoke about and their resolutions into action. Do I have a second?
Yeah, seconded.
Cool. Is there any response from the public to the board? And at this time, we're going to look at the chat for it. Loading.
Does that show you history, or just what happens like after you look?
It shows us history. It looks like there's nothing on it. Okay. So public response from the board is no. So let's go ahead and close out the meeting. Issues for the next meeting. Give gets for the Vice President need to be updated. By next month, in addition to a treasurer's report, we will need a confirmed treasurer's budget for the next fiduciary year. We need a full report for grant writer cost, including pro bono hours provided and work. I'd like to go ahead and move responsibility for that task to Erin, since your father's the PI will be consulted.
Cool.
All right.
Yes.
Tasks before the next board meeting are essentially just placed in issues for the next meeting. So, the issues for the next meeting. And when do we want to set up the next meeting? Do we just want to set it for the second Sunday of September, September 12th? Nope.
11.
11. I don't think we should do that because that's outfolder.
It's on Sunday, September 11th?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not the best time, but outfolder, you know. So should we push the next board meeting to September 18th on Sunday, a private board meeting?
Yeah, I'll probably be able to do that.
Okay. At the regular hours of 6 to 8 p.m.?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All right, wonderful.
Seconded.
So the board meeting has adjourned. If you are viewing this as a recording, the complete agenda, once again, is in the description. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you need more records or more information regarding this board meeting, please email me personally, Samantha at rescue.net, no E, rescq.net. Other board members currently in presence are Erin and Selene, who have provided deemed assent for oral motions provided on the board that say so in the drive. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let us know. That said, we are going to go ahead and move forward to our regular support group meeting.
Somebody?
All right, let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break as people log on. I will post it onto the Facebook page.
Right.
Yay! All right. So I'm going to stop the broadcast, and Erin, if you just want to hang out here, we're just going to use this link for the normal meeting.
All right. Well, I'll be back in a couple minutes. Then.
Sounds good.